This leads us to item number 3, consider approving a resolution to adopt a supplemental budget to defray expenses, to authorize additional financing sources, and to authorize budgetary transfers between funds and between spending agencies with a fund for Mesa County, Colorado. And we have Diane Juitkowski with us this morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Diane Juitkowski, Budget Manager for Mesa County. Today, I have for you 2 resolutions. The first one is going to be a resolution to adopt an amendment to the 2025 fiscal year budget. And then the second resolution is going to be to amend or authorize staffing level for 2025. And so these resolutions are connected, but I will start with the first one, the budget amendment. And just so you know, we do 3 quarterly supplementals to the budget every year. And this just gives us a chance to update the budget for items that weren't anticipated during the original adoption of the budget. So if we get new information about additional grant revenues that we're going to receive, or if there are unexpected expenses that pop up during the year, these supplementals really give us an opportunity to respond to those items. And first, I'd like to mention our annual carry forward of our purchase orders and contracts from prior year. This happens every year in the first quarter supplemental, and this is primarily attributable to capital projects, those larger contracts that span across multiple calendar years. And the funds are appropriated in 2024 for the contracts. If they go unspent, the contracts roll over into 2025, and basically this process just reappropriates those funds within the 2025 budget. This year we have $28.3 million in purchase orders rolling over from last year. $25.7 million of that is in our capital fund. And then we have some smaller contracts that are being carried over in some of our other funds, general fund, road and bridge, landfill, and then a couple other funds. Here are some high-level numbers on things that are being updated in the budget. These numbers are excluding those purchase order rolls just to sort of eliminate some of the noise. And I will go into more details around these numbers in the following slides, but here are some of the top line numbers. For the general fund, we're adding $1.3 million in revenues. We are appropriating an additional $2.5 million in expenditures. And so we will be using a further $1.2 million of our fund balance. Across all of our other funds, we're adding $3.1 million in revenues. We're appropriating $1.6 million, and that leaves us a benefit to fund balance of about $1.5 million. So across all of our funds, general and all other funds, it is going to be about a $250,000 benefit to fund balance overall. And so starting with the general fund, these are some new revenues that we anticipate in 2025 that we didn't have information about when we adopted the budget at the end of the year. And again, with these revenues, we are appropriating the revenue for the purpose of what the funds are for. So a little over $1 million in opioid settlement funding. Mesa County serves as a pass-through entity for this, so we just collect the funds and then distribute it to these some of these external agencies that I have listed here for you. And then we also have some additional grant revenues that our departments have been notified that they are receiving since the beginning of the year. So $207,000 for our RTPO department for Safe Streets and Roads for All grant. About $34,000 for our sheriff's office, additional DEA funding, Persons Who Wander, and peace officers' mental health grants. And then about $30,000 for our district attorney's office. This is grant funding for additional counseling and weekend bond hearing pay.
I'm just going to clarify real quickly, just for the public's awareness, the opioid settlement funding pass-through does go, Mesa County is just a funding agent pass-through, and these community organizations in here They are not necessarily being funded by the decisions of the Mesa County Board of Commissioners. It's a separate opioid board. So just want to make that clarification.
We are adding some additional expenditures to the budget for the general fund that do not have accompanying revenue. The first item is $750,000 is our first year subscription for our new Workday system. We had originally budgeted this in our capital fund. However, due to GAAP accounting policies, it's more appropriate for it to come out of our general fund. So this is really just shifting that appropriation from the capital fund to the general fund for that subscription. Our county administration department entered into a consulting contract with 76 Group, and so this is adding that contract to the budget. Our facilities department had a larger than anticipated increase in their contract for landscaping services, and so about $89,000 is being added to the budget for that. And with our newly created natural resource department, we are appropriating additional funds for them, and the majority of those is going towards our ongoing eradication of the Japanese beetle. We do have some FTE adjustments. The first one is $121,000, some salary adjustments to align with contractual obligations for our former county administrator as well as our DA. We are adding one FTE in our IT department for a technical support specialist, as well as another FTE in our finance department for an AP accountant, and that's to help mitigate some of the workload with that new financial system that we're onboarding. And then looking at all of our other funds, our capital fund, in addition to all of those changes that are coming with those rolled over POs, our public works department is adding $2.4 million in grant revenues received that weren't included in the original budget. Our facilities department received a grant revenue, $715,000 to go towards the new Justice Center Annex design and construction. And we're also appropriating about $2.5 million for this project in 2025. And then our IT department had some leftover funds from 2024 that we're going to be rebudgeting that into the 2025 budget for some projects. We are appropriating an additional $297,000 in our stormwater fund, and this is going to be used towards the stormwater management manual update. In our conservation trust fund, we're using $105,000 for a fairgrounds arena feasibility study, as well as some other necessary maintenance and improvements that can come out of that fund. In our road and bridge fund, $62,000 in Title III funds is being appropriated for our emergency services department to host some programs related to fire mitigation efforts for the public. And then we're appropriating an additional $17,000 for medical supplies in our detention facility. Are there any questions surrounding any changes that we're making to the budget before we move on to the next resolution?
Questions?
I do not.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Keep plowing.
You guys can go ahead and approve this one.
Oh, yeah. So we're done with this one? Okay. I'll now open up to public comment on this item. Is there any public comment on this item? All righty. Seeing no public comment, I will entertain a motion to approve the item as entered into the record.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. This leads us to our final item in individual consideration. That's to consider approving a resolution to amend the authorized staffing level for Mesa County, Colorado. Diane.
Diane Jukowski, Budget Manager. This resolution is to officially amend our 2025 staffing level. So this goes along with the last resolution. You just approved the budget for these FTEs. So this is just officially updating what our staffing level will be for 2025. As I mentioned, we did have a new department created, the Natural Resources Department. So you're going to see a couple adjustments across a few of our departments as we reorg some of our employees. But overall, just a net adding 2 employees to our staffing level, and that's going to be the additional FTE for our IT department, the technical support specialist, and then another FTE for our finance department for an AP accountant.
Any questions?
I don't have any.
This is just the other half of the budget, adding the FTEs. Okay, any public comment on this item? All right, seeing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion to approve the item as entered into the record.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Dan.